everyone, welcome to AGF Strength. This is a clear head review on the comp from last week. I don't know if you saw the previous video I done. I did do a video literally the morning after the comp and I was not in good shape. Sunburnt as well, my face felt all crackly, it was nasty. Anyway, I've had a chance to review everything and look back. I have not had a chance to get behind the camera because of work and exhaustion, but back on it now. I've had a proper chance to have a proper look. Now, this was my first novice comp. Prior to this, I'd had two beginners comps. Finishing my first comp came last, 0-2 events. Second comp, I came 14th from 17th. You know, bear in mind, these are not weight capped comp. Well, they are. They're under 100 kilos. Second comp I done, well, my first two comps I was probably around 79 kilos. So easily, I would say, the lightest, or one of the lightest athletes. Yeah, it was just beginners. It didn't say if it was under whatever in the first comp. The second comp was beginners under 100 kilos, and I came in at 79 kilos for that one. Looking back on that one, it wasn't too bad actually. I think there was the one event which really held me back on my second comp was the sandbag toss. I got one bag, but you know, out of 4 bags, I only get one. You're not going to get a lot of points. Anyway, most recent comp, it was last week. Now, first event was axle deadlift, 150 kilos. Again, this is novice under 100s, and I got 11 reps. Now, because there were so many people in the comp, you weren't allowed to have your hands on the bar before the whistle. Once you hear the whistle, then you can go on and get your straps on and adjust and whatnot. I have pointed out this before. I am not really that keen on figure 8 straps. I just can't quite get the hang of them. Would they have shaved me a couple of seconds getting myself hooked to the bar? Yes. But as I also said as well, I also pulled something a little bit a couple of weeks prior to the comp, so I was a little bit nervy on that. But nevertheless, so it went okay. Got 11. I was again looking on the footage. Maybe I need to get my breathing brace a bit quicker. Maybe. But obviously my focus is always to make sure I'm fully breathed and braced before I lift. But if I can possibly, maybe a fraction of a second, get that breathing brace in quicker, will be good. Looking back on the footage, I think there was one more rep in there, I reckon. But on the last rep, I wanted to make sure I certainly got it out, locked it. Took a second. And then we think, but so there could have been a 12th one. However, I was quite happy with 11. So yeah, axle deadlift, working on that. As I say, I want to work on getting my breathing and bracing quicker, and possibly those first couple of reps that you've got, work on the speed as well. But on the whole, I'm not really that upset with how my deadlift is at the minute. There's always room for improvement. The goal is always to get stronger. So, I mean, I'd like to put on a bit more weight. I'm not going to lie. But that said, if you know, it's like you can put on weight or you can put on strength. So, well, I'll put on strength, obviously. So, that's the end of that. Anyway, the second event was always going to be my, out of the lot, it was going to be the worst for me, and that was the yoke into a duck walk. Into a yoke again, into a duck walk again. The duck walk, not a bother. The yoke slowed me down. Like I said, I'd not practiced a year ago. I done a yoke. And that was in my first competition. And similar to this one, I finished that with like a second to go. Half a second or something to go. It was the same crack with this. I finished it with like half a second to go. Really and truly, I need to make sure I've got some yoke in. if there is a yoke in my next comp, whenever that is going to be. I don't know when that is going to be yet, because me getting to comps, I have to work around work for starters, and then I have to work around the fact that I don't drive. So depending on how far away, it could be I need 2 days. You know, I need I need to get there for like a lot of comps. You know, weigh-ins can be anything from like 7:30. A lot of the time, comps are starting around 9:30. They're finishing around 4, 4:30. So depending on how much travel journey I've got to do in between that, I could be looking at travelling the day before the comp and coming back on the day. Or even worse, I could be looking at travelling the day before and coming back the day after. So, you know, depending how far out the comps are, it's either a 1 day thing for me, or it could be a 2 or a 3. So there you go. So yeah, going forward, I need to get a yoke, or I need to be able to practice a yoke. If a yoke is involved in my next comp, whatever it would be. I mean, in general, it would be good to be able to master a yoke a little bit more, even if I've not got it up in a competition, just so I can, you know, add that to my arsenal. But we'll see. If a yoke is in my next comp, I will get a yoke of some sort. I did see someone done a DIY yoke out of, well, bits of timber and offcuts of metal. So maybe I'll work out which one's cheaper to do, and I'll do that. And then there's always the on top of that, of how I'm going to, whether I've got enough weight to put onto the yoke once I've bought it to kill it all out or fit it all out. Either way, we'll see. We will see. As I say, completed this, but the yoke was very ropey for me. It was very ropey. To stop from falling, I was taking small steps to get it across. So yeah, I lost a lot of time on that, but I completed it, which is, you know, that was the main focus, really. My third event was the Husafell sandbag for distance. I managed 70 meters. Again, I was looking back on it. When I started, I did start pretty slow. I didn't run into it. I started pretty slow. Like I say, I've marched on the spot with one, but I haven't actually walked backwards and forwards with one. You know, properly done it really, which is what I suppose I'm just going to need to bite the bullet and find somewhere to do up and down the garden or something. Even though my garden's a bit wobbly, but I have to work way around it, won't I? Nothing else for it. So yeah, it went okay. I didn't drop it again, you know. Shaved a bit of points, but didn't drop it, and that was the main focus. So yeah, it was all right. It was all right. What next? Ah, yes, the minibus pool. Now I did check with the organisers. Apparently the minibus weighed 1.8 tons, or 1,800 kilos, and I weigh 81 kilos. So again, if we use the mass moves mass equation, I'm no good with maths, but yeah. But I got it moving, I got it done, and I got it cleared in about 27 seconds, which wasn't the fastest time out of the group. Again, I did walk in as one of the lighter athletes, so, you know. That said, my use of heavy squats and chucking some weights on myself and doing some pull-ups on this seems to, well, it did pay off, because I completed the 12 meters. Yeah, so having never pulled a minibus or any vehicle before, I thought I'd done all right. So that was good. The sandstone for reps to height. No, I was looking back on this one again. I've looked back on all of them, and the very first one rep that I got, lapped, then triple extended it up. The second one I done in one motion. Then I think I went back to, okay, play it safe, lap, triple extend, lap, triple extend. Fifth rep went to, yes, no, yeah, I got 5. Yeah, the 6th rep I went to and I lost the grip, slipped the grip. Ah! And I only had 3 seconds left to go, so I lifted it up anyway, just to, I didn't want to waste the 3 seconds. But yeah, no, all in all, what can I say? I was pretty pleased with myself. I did complete everything. I did not expect myself to find myself on the podium. As I said, I'm always going to be carrying a bit of a weight disadvantage over other people. That said, that's a sign that I do need to be eating more. The problem I have is working it around the day job, because, well, my day job doesn't really allow for, I don't really get a lot of chance to, sit down and consume some quality foods. So getting the protein in a lot of the time through shakes and stuff and tuna. But I would say, looking onto the diet, the calorie count is probably under. I'm getting the protein numbers in, but the calories are under what they should be, and I need to sort out something good for my carbs, because I know I don't have as much carbs as I should. So it's finding a way of fitting it all in, and yeah. So future goals looking forward when the next comp comes along. A is to make sure I am practicing all of the events. Like I say, I think mate of mine, well, the mates from the strongman comp, he did say that they do a strongman like day at his gym, which is, again, it's a little bit of a distance from mine. Well, from my gym being this room you see before you. Yes. So again, it's finding time. It's time around work. It's finding time around work, the wife, the kids, to get out and do stuff. It's difficult. It's a bit difficult. But yeah, goals. Future competition I'm entering, I need to make sure I am practicing every event properly. Like I say, that means not carrying on the spot. If I'm doing a sandbag carry or something for distance, I pick it up. I've got like my gardens maybe 5 meters. It's more than 5. Well, it doesn't matter what it is. Let's say, for the sake of argument, it's 5 meters. All I got to do, I just keep walking backwards and forwards for the minute, and then count. So, yeah. And then, because then I can be actually focusing on the speed that I'm walking, whereas when you're marching on your spot, or how fast am I marching on the spot? It doesn't entirely equal actual walking forwards. It's the best thing you can do to replicate it without replicating it. If you can march on the spot for a minute and not drop the thing, you should be able to walk for a minute and not drop the thing. So I think I was using that analogy. Again, it was just not zeroing any event. That was my plan. And it worked. So could have been better, could have been worse. And second plan is, yes, size. I want to try and pack a bit of timber onto me. So need to start looking into my diet lot more. I say a lot more, as I say, I mean the protein is getting in there, but I am still running myself short on the calories. But here's the thing, I've never been a calorie counter. I'm not going to lie. I've never been one of them that's followed it. I've always gone by, well, I don't like to walk around hungry. But, yeah. Yeah, so eat a bit more, volume, lift a bit heavier for a while. So I think that's the problem as well. As strength athletes, we are so used to lifting in a lower rep range that once we've got to lift beyond double digits, it feels a bit like, is this cardio? You know. So, but no, as I say, there's no immediate comps coming up. There's a possibility, there's a maybe at the end of August and another maybe at the end of September. But again, it's working out getting there because they are further away from where I am based. So, yeah. So I'll look into that. And like I say, in the meantime, training wise, I have been off. I did give myself the week because I say first couple of days after the comp itself, I was battered. So it's a Monday, Tuesday. So then it was Wednesday, and it was like midweek, and I was sort of like, well, I had a double that day actually. I had work on the Wednesday, and then I had a 12.5-hour shift on the Thursday. Friday, doctor had to go to the doctors. Nothing serious, but it's just one of them. You know, you had to get done, and that ended up. So by the time I got back, that's half the day gone. And today there's a spring fair going on, and tomorrow I got work again. 12 hours. Now Monday, this following Monday, whatever the date is, I've got a big shift then as well. However, I may well get back on it on Monday. Just having a look at adjusting my program, allowing for, you know, a little bit more volume, probably based for the first couple of weeks, and then slightly adjust things. Something like that. Something like that. I'll work it out. I'm looking at something at the moment, so I'll make my mind up and then I'll get on it. Right, there we go. That is it. So that's the entire like level-headed rundown on AGF Strongest 2026. They do say the next year's is going to be bigger and better, so I'm going to have to try and make sure that next year I am getting bigger and better. And when I know the events, see what I can financially afford to do. Right, there we go. That is it. That is the lot. That's all I can think of for now. So keep strong, keep happy, keep healthy, and I'll speak to you all later.